A major restructuring of the political systems of the world happened during the 20th century. We will follow the growth of democracy as it happened around the globe during this century. If you look at the world maps dating back from 1900 to 1950, some evolving patterns of democracy are evident. Some countries that had established democracy during the 1900s were the United States and Canada in North America, and the United Kingdom, France, Norway, and Greece in Europe. In South America as well, major countries like Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, and Peru were ruled by democratic governments. However, the democratic tradition in South America was not very well grounded, unlike the United States or the United Kingdom. Hence, by the 1950s, most of the countries here came under the sway of military dictatorships. Moving over to Asia and Africa, none of the countries here had a democratic government. If you recall, most of the countries on these continents were colonized by the Europeans during this time. By the 1950s, some countries in Asia gained independence and subsequently formed democratic governments of their own. For example, India and the Philippines. Japan also became a democracy from a monarchy around the same time. However, Japan has the unique distinction of being one of the few countries which were never colonized. Another major country which became a democracy around the 1950s is Australia. African nations were still under the colonial rule or were ruled by self-servicing military despots. The impoverished nation of Botswana was the only country in Africa that had a democratically elected government. On the other hand, European countries were moving fast towards democracy, except the East European bloc, which was under the USSR and the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Did you know? By 1991, the USSR and Yugoslavia disintegrated into several nations, most of which are now democratic countries. By the year 2000, African countries started their transition towards democracy. Some major countries that are still non-democratic are North Korea, Myanmar, and China in Asia, Saudi Arabia in the Middle East, Peru in South America, Morocco, Libya, Somalia and Sudan in Africa, and Belarus in Europe. Some key points become clearer after having studied these maps. Democracy spread throughout the world during the 20th century. Democracy did not spread evenly in all parts of the world, but in different regions and in different phases. It was established first in North America and Europe, and then it spread across Asia and Africa. while a majority of the countries are democratic, there are still large parts of Africa and Asia that are not democratic.